What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to Let's Build the U.S.S. Enterprise A 2.0 Season 1 Episode 4. I'm Zero Elite, and I just want to thank you very much for tuning in today's episode. And if you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, helping me in supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. Today we've got about a 15-minute episode and some change. We're going to be diving in right where we left off in the last episode, working on our lower hull. So let's go ahead, kick back, relax. We're going to dive right into this. So we're going to try to bang out the rest of our sides here and bring it all the way back and see what it looks like. Spoiler warning, we're going to be making some changes to that once we get it, once we finish what we have here. And this is just going to go into one of my rules. Sometimes you just have to throw something down and see how it looks to figure out what you need to do. So that's basically what we're going to do here. So we're going in one with the cut. We're going to do that going all the way around, and cut line by cut line we're going to get this transitioned all the way back. Once we do that, then we're going to compare what we have and then decide what we need to do to make it look better. You see, just off that row there, I want to bring that in by 1, because you can see that our progression lines are starting to get affected, because what we had before was that the bottom wireframe was progressing outward, and now it's causing some problems. Because again, don't necessarily, what I should have done was just, instead of progressing outwards, I just should have went straight back and progressed upwards instead of upwards and outwards. But that's okay. We're just going to fix it one row at a time. Alright, we're not looking too bad here, so we're just going to bring this going all the way back to this cut line. You're going to want to do that going all the way around. As long as you do that, you can't make a mistake here. Alright, so now we've completed that step, so now we're going to start to fill in our belly just a little bit more. I already sense that we're going to have to bring this line back, so I might as well just anticipate that right now and move this over. That looks good. So we're going to do the same thing on the right side. Once you've completed that step, then we're going to continue on. We're going to go in one with a cut, and then we're going to bring that going all the way back. And you want to have that going all the way around. We're looking pretty good. Once you've completed that, we're going to move on to the next step. But we are slowly but surely knocking this out. Now, one of the reasons why I just hesitated right here, and I'm looking at the back end, is because there's a couple of things I don't like here. It's progressing up too fast, and then also the cut lines on the top. Um, I don't know. It just doesn't look as clean. Well, not clean, but it's not matching up because what's going to end up happening as we go further back, because we have a cut line on the top, it's going to make the roof of our lower hull a lot smaller as we progress going backwards. Um, so we're going to have to make some adjustments to that so that this way we mostly have our cut lines on the bottom of our lower hull and not going along the top. Don't worry about that right now. We're going to get into that as we go. But I'm already seeing that right here, that as we go backwards, as it's progressing, the top is going to be very, very small. We don't want that. I want to keep that as big as possible for the roof of the lower hull, as much as I can anyway. And now the reason, again, why I'm not building out the ceiling for this last two cuts is because I'm trying to actually see how this is going to look going backwards. How our cut lines are going to look. Is there going to be too many cut lines? Is it going to be getting too narrow on the backs, on the sides? Is it going to be getting too narrow on the top because of the template that we have? So now what I want to do, instead of going back, or excuse me, instead of going in one with a cut, I just want to bring it back a row. And I want to see how this is going to look. Because now we're getting into an exploratory phase, and see what I'm looking at right here is this line. I like that. That looks very clean. But I want that going on the bottom of the sides, the bottom, but not so much on the sides and top. So what are we going to do to fix that? I'm going to sound like a broken record as I'm going through this tutorial, but this just ties right into throwing something down and seeing how it looks. It's so vital to what we're doing here because it's going to help us be able to critique what we have to comparison to what we want, and what do we need to do to get it to that point. So what I'm kind of getting at, I'm thinking about maybe just having it on the top of the lower hull, just having one cut line, but then maybe this whole piece right here, just bring it all the way back. Now if I do that, there's going to end up being a lip on the side right here. And we're actually going to get into that just in a second actually. And we're going to be making some adjustments. And again, I'm looking at my concept art and I'm comparing the overall length of my lower hull to the concept art, and I'm comparing the proportions of the neck, the saucer, and everything, because this is helping me to gauge how much further back I need to bring this outline. And let's say we make a mistake and we bring it too far back. That's okay. You can always correct that. But this is a great visual because now we can really see what it's actually going to look like with this current template in place. And I could do this on the sides here, just going up and out, because this will eventually become our shuttle bay. So I'm just going to follow the cut line and go out one with a cut. You see here, because in that hole on the ceiling, that'll be stretched out, it'll be the same size, and we'll just have the cut on the belly. But it's really important to get this done now, because you don't want to be in a position where we start building out our pylons and everything, and then later on decide like, oh well, you know what, I don't like that, let's change it. Kind of want to figure that stuff out now. Alright, I'm going to pop on the inside, and I want to do a builder block going straight across just to make sure that I'm matching up here. Alright, that looks good. You know, don't be afraid to go back and check your work. Checking your work, these are all things that help us to maintain precision as we're going. So that's not looking too bad. And you know what, to be fair, we can even keep what we have here. If you decide like, you know what, Zero, like that looks good enough to me, I mean, hey, you can rock it, but I just think that we can do maybe a little bit better on the underside of this. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take our initial template for our hull line on the side, and we're going to bring that going all the way back. And then we're going to do the same thing on the right side. Because this is really the width that I want to achieve. Because again, we don't want our shuttle bay area to be too small. We're already building these at a scaled version. My Kelvin Timeline Enterprise is not one-to-one scale with how it was in the movies. I made mine much smaller in comparison to the original Constitution. And even then, this is probably a half scale of the original Constitution. And now I'm just going to build out a wireframe for what could be the back landing point. So again, just to get a visual and to see how things are starting to shape up. You're probably thinking that this area right now is too narrow, and you're probably right, but we also have to blend in the sides and figure all that out also. All right. That's looking pretty good. But we do have a bit of a problem, as you can see. How do we get our sides here matching up? We're going to ultimately probably end up having to stretch this out on the sides. Maybe with mostly keeping the current template that we have, but just bringing it out. I don't know if what I'm doing right now is going to solve that problem. Because again, we'll still end up having a bit of a lip under here. But that could be addressed once we add in our pylons. Because remember, the pylons are to end up being incorporated into the lower hull, making it more like a reinforced one giant wing, essentially. Which I actually kind of like more than what they did with the original Constitutions, because remember as a kid, building the Constitution refit, those damn pylons, they'd fall off every time. No matter how many times you glued them. My dad would sit there and build models with me on the weekends when he'd be working, because he pretty much worked every day. But we tried everything. Like we tried string to hold the pylons in place. We try to prop them up with books, everything we could, but they just didn't have the strength to hold up those damn engines. And I think about that stuff because, I mean, in space, that's not necessarily going to be a big deal, but the second you go into an atmosphere, those things are just going to crumble. So it makes sense maybe to have something that's a little bit more reinforced. But anyway, I've blabbered on enough. We've shot through today's episode. I think that's going to wrap us up today. If you did enjoy this content, if you can help me out, hit that like and subscribe button and helping me to support the channel. I can't thank you guys enough for that. New subscribers, don't forget to hit notifications on so you get notified when my new videos are dropping Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you have any questions regarding today's episode, be sure to drop a comment below or post your photos in the Discord. I definitely love hearing from everybody. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for me today. So I just want to thank everybody again. I hope everyone has a happy and safe weekend. And of course, what did you make in Minecraft today? Post your photos in the Discord so the community can see them.